Hello, my name is Gary Miller. I'm a research entomologist with the USDA Systematic Entomology Laboratory. At some point in time, you may need to send your microscope slide away for identification. Considering all the time and effort it's taken to make a good slide, one of the worst things that can happen is to have it broken in transit. A slide such as this is virtually useless for identification purposes. Today I'm going to show you some techniques that will help avoid this. There are a couple things we want to do when we prepare a slide for mailing. Two things you want to do is you want to prevent the slide from breaking, of course, but you also want to keep the specimen, shown here, from sticking to the lid of the slide mailer. This is especially important if the mount is not completely dry. One of the ways we can prevent this from happening and also provide cushioning is simply to provide spacers between the slide and the lid of the mailer. In this case, we use a piece of rubber band that's been cut. We can also place a small rubber band and use that as a spacer as well. Another technique is to use a portion of a styrofoam peanut, simply cut and placed on the microscope slide. Next, you'll want to keep the slide closed while it's in transit. And I usually do this with a rubber band. One of the errors I often see are folks that will take a rubber band and wrap it around the center of the microscope slide. And this is problematic in that it puts a lot of pressure directly on the specimen. So even if you do have a spacer in there, you have that additional pressure. I like to wrap the rubber band around the corners. Using a rubber band on the corners allows the specimen in the center to have not as much pressure. On rigid mailers, such as the one we have here, the same techniques are used again. In this case, I use the styrofoam peanuts. Snap the lid closed. And again, use a rubber band on the corners. You may also need to mail large quantities of slides. In this case, the slide box holds close to 100 specimens. One of the things I like to do is just simply cut a piece of bubble wrap, and this acts as a nice extra cushioning support for the slides. Close the box, and if you like, you can apply a piece of cellophane tape to the sides as extra insurance. Of course, before you send a slide, you will still want to package the mailer in a rigid container filled with cushioning material. And although there's no guarantee against slide breakage, these techniques may help prevent it.